There are moments when even the strongest fall. When the pack finds its moment, when the hunter becomes prey. Metal doesn't always protect, armor doesn't always resist. But in the deepest part of the warrior, there's some me to the temple of the forgotten ruins. Nessa stared at him intently. She was just a peasant, not a heroine. But something in those golden eyes made her nod. "I'll take you," she said simply. She prepared what was necessary. Dry bread, aged cheese, water from the spring. At dawn they departed along the forest path. The tall pines blocked the sun. A dense, unnatural silence reigned. "The sorceress Valera stole the crystal of dawn and cursed my entire order," explained Talon as they walked. "I am the last knight standing. If I don't recover it, eternal night will cover the kingdom." Nessa felt a knot tighten in her stomach. When day fell, they improvised a camp. That night, hungry wolves emerged from the undergrowth, eyes glowing like green embers. There were too many. Talon stood up, raised his sword. Nessa grabbed a burning stick from the fire. Then Talon emitted a deep cry, a metallic screech that sounded like a war bird. The echo rumbled through the trees. The beasts stopped, confused, and retreated, vanishing into the shadows. They walked 2 more days until they found an old man sitting on a rock. He wore a gray tunic. His eyes were completely white. "Do you seek the crystal of dawn?" he asked before they could speak. "How do you know?" Talon knelt. "I hear it in the wind that beats your sleeping wings." He pointed to a narrow path. "Follow the light that cannot be seen, but do not fear the darkness that shines." The path led them through mist-shrouded hills. A fine rain began to fall. They found a cave for shelter. On the walls there were carved symbols, eagles and suns intertwined. "Insignias of my order," Talon said with reverence. "We are close." "What happens if we fail?" Nessa asked quietly. Talon looked at her with those amber eyes. "Then I remain a monster, and the kingdom falls to endless night." Nessa met his gaze. "You're not a monster." At dawn, the earth shook. A landslide blocked their path. They searched until they found a narrow tunnel. Together, they cleared the exit. The tunnel led them behind a waterfall. The icy water stole their breath. Talon raised his gaze, and there they were, the ruined towers of the ancient temple. At midday, they saw the entrance to the sanctuary. Broken columns, a collapsed arch. Talon tensed his shoulders. "When we're inside, don't follow me too closely. The magic will test your will." I've come this far, Nessa said, gathering her courage. They crossed the threshold. The temple was shrouded in greenish twilight. Emerald fire torches floated without touching the ground. In the center, on a stone pedestal, floated the crystal of dawn. It was the size of a closed fist, teardrop-shaped, and inside pulsed a golden light like a trapped heart. Before it stood Valera. She wore a dark green tunic, almost black. Her eyes gleamed emerald green with an unnatural glow. Dark veins serpentined across her neck like poisonous roots. She smiled mockingly. The eagle and his dove. She raised a twisted staff and launched a violet ray. Talon stepped between them. His sword stopped the impact, but the force threw him against a column. "Little peasant girl, flee or your flesh will be ash," hissed Valera. Nessa didn't retreat. She took a step forward. In her mind echoed the old man's words. "Follow the light that cannot be seen." The crystal flickered as if it recognized her. Valera launched another ray. Nessa rolled across the ground. Talon charged. His sword clashed against the dark staff. Black and golden sparks exploded. Stones began to fall from the ceiling. "You think you can defeat me? I am eternal night," Valera screamed. While the spells burst, Nessa approached the pedestal. She felt a growing warmth in her chest. She took a deep breath and closed her eyes. She thought of her cabin, of her goats, of the freshly baked bread, of the seeds she wanted to sow in spring. And she touched the light. It didn't burn. It was warm. It was alive. A golden flash flooded the hall as if the sun had entered. The spell broke with the sound of 1,000 shattering crystals. Valera screamed, retreated. Her staff split in two. The green magic enveloped her and consumed her from within. She was reduced to black dust. Talon fell to his knees. The armor cracked with a dull crunch. Black feathers fell away like dry leaves. The beak disappeared, dissolving into light. Little by little, human skin emerged. Before Nessa appeared a young man, pale with amber eyes, jet black hair. He trembled, free but exhausted. The temple began to collapse. Nessa grabbed Talon and they ran. The columns were collapsing. Just as they crossed the threshold, the sanctuary came crashing down behind them. Outside, the sky was opening. Rays of light pierced through the gray clouds for the first time in years. The sun emerged as if it had been waiting for permission to return. Talon breathed deeply. "I'm alive," he said, surprised to hear his own voice without the metallic screech. They walked away to the top of a hill. There, Talon told her his story. He was the son of King Aldrich of Valdris, prince and knight of the Winged Guard. Valera, former advisor to the court, had coveted the crystal's power. Rejected, she unleashed her revenge. For 5 years, Talon wandered as a faceless war beast without hope. "Without you, I would have lost everything," he said, looking at her with those golden eyes that no longer frightened. Nessa lowered her gaze, shy. She felt a whirlwind in her chest. They walked for days. In every village, people began to notice something different. The sky was clearer, the night softer. Rumors of Valera's fall spread like fire. Some offered them bread and shelter. When they arrived at the capital of Valdris, they found it wounded. Cracked walls, empty plazas, towers without guards. But survivors emerged upon seeing the crystal of dawn glowing in Nessa's hands. One by one, they knelt before Talon. An old blacksmith approached. "Prince, the city belongs to you." But Talon shook his head gently. "The city belongs to everyone." He ordered the granaries opened. The reserves shared. The people cheered. Voices filled the empty streets. Talon summoned the elders of the council and swore to govern with justice. He named Nessa guardian of the crystal of dawn. Many were surprised. She felt out of place, but did not retreat. She held the crystal with firmness. In the main square, they lit great bonfires. That night, with the clear sky, songs rose like prayers to the stars. "What happens now?" Nessa asked. "We rebuild. It won't be easy, but we'll do it together," Talon said, looking at her not as a prince to a peasant, but as equals. "Will you stay? The kingdom needs you." Nessa looked at the crystal in her hands, then at the people celebrating, then at him. "I think I will." Restoring a kingdom was not the work of a day, but with each dawn, Valdris healed. Nessa traveled with messengers, walked the roads, distributed seeds. Her simple voice awakened trust. Talon governed with a firm hand and an attentive heart. And when the wind blew from the northern forests, it brought the rumor of wings. No longer wings of curse, they were wings of hope.